Right, today I'm going to do like a lamb casserole type dish. I mean, basically I'm just using up what I've got in the freezer. So I've got like a lamb shank, look, with a bone and everything. Now I've also got a lamb shank that I've took the bone out of, and I put some minted marinade, you know, you get minted lamb chops and stuff. I put the minted marinade in it. So I'm just going to tie that back up like that. It's got no bone in it, that one, and I'll use the both of them. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in with obviously garlic, celery, onions, thyme, some red wine, some beef stock also I need to get out. I will use a lamb gravy at the end to thicken it up. And I've also got some carrots. I've got some unicorn carrots, just purely because I find them funny. Any carrots will do. So, right, I'll just tie that back up and I'll come back to you in a second and show you what I'm going to do. Right, so what I've done is I've tied up that lamb shank again that's had the bone out. Like I said, I will do another video on that one day and just show how to debone it. Because normally what I do is with my lamb, I always put like the minted marinade on it because it just tastes beautiful. But I've got it in the cupboard and I ain't got none, so it just is what it is. I'm just doing it as it is. So I forgot to also mention there's going to be salt, pepper and a tin of chopped tomatoes involved in this dish. So what I've done here is I've cut the 2 chunks of celery up, like fairly big pieces, because I will get them out at the end when it's done casseroling. 3 cloves of garlic I've just crushed, and there's just half an onion there in big pieces. So what I'm going to do is literally add this to this tray, because I'm going to roast the lamb shanks, you see, for about 45 minutes, maybe even an hour first, just to, because lamb's obviously got a lot of fat in it and stuff, hasn't it, and it'll just get the juices out. Just roast them, put a bit of colour on them, and then also it'll help, I'll make a gravy out of the juices. Best thing is I'll just show you, you know, what I'm going to do. So I'll just throw in the veg, the garlic around it, like that. I mean, I could use a bigger tray, but don't bother. So these carrots, Jode, just depending on how many Jodie wants. I mean, I don't really eat them, but I'll just throw a few in. I mean, they're all different colours, aren't they? I suppose they do it for the kids, to try and get them to eat them, I suppose. But I mean, really and truly, when it's been casserole for ages, anyway, all the goodness is going to come out the carrots anyway and be in the gravy and the juices. So, I mean, I will fish them out in the end. You can either blend them up, whatever, but we'll just go from here anyway. So I'm going to throw that together like that, and I'm going to put it in the oven on about 180 degrees Celsius for an hour, and I'll come back to you. In the meantime, I'm going to cut up the last onion in half really small, and I will chop up some garlic really finely. In fact, I will crush the garlic in fact. So I'll just get these roasting, and then I'll come back in a little while and show you where we go from there. Right, so I've roasted up these for what, 3/4 of an hour or so. See, like it's, oh, it's the bone. Ouch, that's not, I'm not going to grab it by the bone. Obviously had a broken leg. So what I'm going to do is put these into casserole pot. Oh, that bone shattered, isn't it? It's mad, isn't it? I want to get that out, obviously don't want to eat that. Oh well. So normally the bone will be stuck out. At least you get all the bone marrow now. Look, you can see the bone marrow in the middle, what's going to actually go into the pot. Anyway, so, and get that out. Cheers, thanks, Joe. So anyway, this one's got no bone, so I've put that inside of it. And I'm left with this. I mean, so the idea is now I want to literally get all this vegetables, get all this out. Hot, ouch. Get all this out and throw it in there. What I've done, I could just bring you over here a second. I chopped up the onion, but what I've done is, you know, cooking. I mean, I do this recipe all the time, but you know what I decided? I'm going to add a chilli. Why not? And a couple of bay leaves. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I know what it normally tastes like, so it's normally good, but I fancy I'm going to add a chilli, so chilli I'll add. Anyway, I'll just get this into there, just keep the video short, so I'll pause it while I just throw this veg in there and come back in a second. So I've got like the onions, look, what I've chopped up. Obviously, oops, I shouldn't have done that. I put the that veg out the roasting tin in, so I'm just going to get this onion into there now as well. Making a right mess again. I'll sweep up in a minute, Jodie. I'm sorry, my darling.
Will be.
Let's get that one under there and all around there. That's good. So then I'm just going to throw in my chilli as well. A couple of bay leaves. Right, now I'm going to just quickly crush in the garlic into there also. Just use my garlic crusher, makes life easier. Do you want to just pause while I'm doing this? Just keep. Let me turn that off. So now see this juice, what we're left with now from the lamb and the vegetables. I just taste it. It's ever so lammy and it's a lovely, lovely flavour that is. So what I'm going to do to this is I'm going to add some flour. Add some flour into it. Soak it all up. And then from that, I'm now going to just absorb all that into the stock or whatever it is, the flour. It'll start to form a paste, look, like this. So just get all of that, because this will help thicken the sauce. So I just put it on. So I've just put that ring on, and I don't really want it on yet. Just get all that together like that. And just form a paste, look, get like the lumps out, as it were. And then to that, I'm going to add some tomato puree, just a little bit of tomato puree. Not much, just a tablespoonful or so, or less. I'll show you. Just put that much in. And then just mix that into that. Just mix that thoroughly into there. So we've got sort of like that consistency, like that, look. Then what I'm going to do is put that onto the heat. Turn that ring back on a second there. Put that onto the heat there. Sec. And this is where I'm going to add into this my wine, my red wine. And just blend that in, mix that all into there. And then obviously it'll start to get hot and it'll cook off the alcohol, and this will just become like a nice paste which we're going to add to the casserole. So I'll just cut the video because you don't want to see me keep mixing this around. It'll take a couple of minutes, but back in a sec. I don't know if you can see now on the film, look, it's starting to change colour. It's starting to go darker and turn into like a thick paste. Yeah? So I'll just carry on just doing that a second. I've got a little bit more wine to add, and then I'll be back in a minute. I've added the rest of the wine and just thin it down a bit. I'm just going to just work this in, mix it together, and then I'm going to add it to the casserole. So I'll see you in a second. Just keep on stirring. So now I've got this, look, this type of consistency. I don't know if you can really see it. So let's see, I'll cook it off with the wine. It's like real thick liquid, look. But it is liquid. It's not, you know, gloopy. Well, I mean, it is gloopy, but it's not, you know, it's not solid in any way. It's thick liquid. Anyway, so now basically then we're going to add that. Ouch, it's a little warm. That's right. I'm going to add that. Hang on, I've got to learn to do it the other way, and sorry, I'm filming. We're going to add that to the casserole. Look. So get all that into there. That's all. Obviously, all the juices from the vegetables and the meat now are all in there, as well as the red wine. So, kind of not wasted anything. So that's that part done. Let me just have a cup. Then now I've got me my beef stock. So what's this? This is about 400 ml of beef stock. So I'm going to add that into there as well. Mix all that together. Now, I mean, it's just one of them again. You know, kind of recipe kind of changing as I'm going along. I've got some oxtail soup when I was making spare ribs the other day. So there's only a little bit in it, but you know, I'm not going to eat it, and Joe's not going to eat it, so we're just going to throw that in there as well. Just why not? It's only a bit, but in it can go. Just use it up. That's the thing in it. Just use up what you've got. So then, from that point as well, I need a few sprigs of thyme. So I'm in a mess of the kitchen. So just a few sprigs of thyme. Just going to twist them up. Grip them up, twist them up. Very pungent little herb that is, isn't it? So just put that in there. Leaves on the side, let's throw that in as well. Just a couple more sprigs. So that's there. Then I want to add some salt. Some pepper. Also a can of chopped tomatoes. Into there as well.
Perfect fit.
There we go. Isn't it? Just give that a little mix around. But when it's cooking and boiling, it will mix up in there anyway. So now the lid on, and I'm going to put it in the oven on a low light now. I'm going to go with like 150 degrees Celsius. I'm just going to leave it in there for a couple of hours. I mean, you could rush it, I suppose, if you wanted to, but I don't really want it yet, so just going to have that on a low light and let all that casserole. Right, cool. I'll see you later. Right, I've just got this out of the oven. It's had a couple of hours in there. I'm going to put in like a lamb gravy now, but I need to mix this with cold water first, so it don't go lumpy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lamb shanks out and then stir the gravy in. So back in a sec. Right, so I'm just going to literally, I've got a slotted spoon, and I'm just going to get some of this veg out. I mean, if you've listened to me before, I don't particularly like it anyway, so I'm just going to get it out and just put it in a bowl. I mean, all the goodness has kind of come out of it now anyway. I mean, Jodie, if you want to eat it, you'll just get it out there, won't you?
Yeah.
It's ready in a second anyway. I'm not going to go mad, so I'm just going to, there ain't tons and tons in it, look. Right, okay, back in a second. Right, so I'm going to stir in the gravy to it now. I've also put a teaspoon of corn flour in that also, because it will thicken, you know, to thicken it up really a lot, to like it dead thick. So got that in there. Just give it a good stir. Oh, splash. Let a good stir around. I'm going to put the lamb shanks back in, and then, well, just waiting for the potatoes to cook, and it's ready. I suppose then, Joe, you pick through that, you eat that if you want to eat it, won't you?
Sure will. Back in a mo.
Right, this is ready now, so I'm going to serve it up in a second. Gravy's thick, I would have thought. Yeah, gravy's nice and thick. Any gravy that's left, I am going to turn this into a beef casserole tomorrow, because believe me, it does taste really nice. So, yeah, I'm not wasting any of this. It's one of my favourite dinners, this. Right, there you go. Anyway, I'll show you when it's on the plate. There we go, it's time for dinner, but there's all this lot left, look, and I'm just going to make I'm going to turn this into a beef casserole tomorrow. I'll obviously have to have more water, onions, stuff like that maybe, but yeah, because that is beautiful, beautiful gravy.
It's delicious. One of the best. He's got to have chips still with his legs. Best with mash and carrots.
Anyway,
I'm going to eat it now. Bye.
Bye.